Hey YouTube, welcome back. We are getting ready for build contest number 4, I believe. Is this one? And the item that we built around was Jasper's Searing Pride. Let's take a look at this real quick so we know what kinds of things you could do with the Jaspers in order to make it interesting. And then we're going to click through a couple builds here. We have 1, 2, 3... We have 4 submissions, and one person is going to get a gift sub out of it. So that'll be the reward for them. So, looking at Jasper's Searing Pride, there's a couple interesting things to take note of here. I guess, yeah, let's put it down here, I guess. So, on a Jasper's Searing Pride, it's a staff. So, it's a staff that has like melee, physical, and like attack-based stuff on it. But remember, staves in Last Epoch cannot get attack speed as a prefix. So, even if you want to attack as fast as possible, you need to get attack speed from other places. You can't just LP attack speed onto this. So, that's thing number 1. The implicit has 94 physical damage and 100 adaptive spell damage. So you could do like a spell thing, you could do a melee thing, you could do a hybrid spell and physical melee thing. If you found some kind of overlap there, you could go that route too. It does have block chance and block effect. If you were going to use this along with a skill that gives you block, maybe if you wanted to use it with Warpath, then you'd have 18 block from the stick itself. And then maybe a couple points of blocks from Warpath. You can get more block from Sigils of Hope. And maybe you could play like, you know, I'm playing a block build that's not using shield. And then I also get to make use of the damage reduction from using a Titan Heart. So that could be like a different kind of way that you could approach Jaspers in order to make it an interesting item. The most obvious thing about Jaspers is the plus levels to skills. So for some reason, it has plus 1 to 3 to Flame Reave, plus 1 to 3 for Surge, and plus 1 to 3 for Enchant Weapon. So you could play a melee, physical, Flame Reave, Surge build, I guess? So maybe that'll be one of the builds that we see. So the last piece, and in my opinion, the most interesting piece of this, is it's kind of related to attack speed. It says when you use a melee attack and hit at least one enemy, you gain a stack of Searing Blades for 8 seconds. So we got 8-second duration, and there's no limit on the number of stacks you can have. And then for each stack that you have, you gain 2 things. You gain flat melee fire damage, which is fire damage, as opposed to the physical damage that you have in other places. So there's some tension between physical and fire. And then there's 20% melee ignite chance. So if you attacked a whole bunch, you could stack up melee ignite chance, and then maybe you could make use of melee ignite chance by proccing other melee things and have like an ignite build. So there's a lot of things you could do with this, and this ended up being, I think, the most well-rounded of all of the theory crafting events that we've had so far, because there's so many different directions you could take this weapon, and also the baseline for this weapon, like if you're playing a melee attack, your melee build is going to be pretty okay, because it has enough damage on it that you can't really go wrong. If you want to go crit, you got to get crit somewhere because it doesn't have any crit on it. If you want to go attack speed, you got to get attack speed somewhere. But those are the interesting build-around components of Jaspers. I want to pop open a couple planners that we have here in Discord, and we'll see what other people thought about doing with their Jasper's Searing Pride. So this is build number 1. It looks like we're looking at a Spellblade here. As always, I've asked people on Discord to submit not only the build planner that they played, but also like a couple paragraphs, maybe a sentence or 2 at the very least, about what their build is, so that I have an idea of what I'm looking at. So let's read. This is build submission number 1. It says Ignite, Surge, Flame Reave. So I would call this like maybe like the prescribed or like the meta build. We're looking at the plus levels of Flame Reave, and we're just like, okay, we're gonna play Flame Reave, we're gonna see how it is. So let's read. The main idea is that you use Firebrand to build stacks and mana and ignites and ward. Surge will trigger a bunch of ward, and also it will trigger Flame Reave. That Flame Reave will consume the Firebrand stacks to cause more ignite. You can then consume all of the ignites on the target with Enchant Weapon. You can drop Flame Reave, returns to you if you have mana issues, or if you don't have a Sun Wreath, and you can build toward World, Fire, and Lingering Embers. What is Lingering Embers? You just gets Fire Aura. I would vote against this. I find Fire Aura synergies to be pretty weak. But okay, looks like that's something that they're noting. if you are lucky enough to get some good LP items, you can go Exsanguinous and Last Step of the Flipping Living while dropping a Bleeding Heart for a low HP build, but that is beyond my skill level to test. So that's cat, get out of here. That's the text that we've been given to describe this character. So in my opinion, like the meta Flame Reeve build would be a one-hander plus a Bastion, and I would be looking at Lizard IRL's Flame Reeve character. It's super tanky, it has all the damage reduction from Flame Ward, and then it's a crit build, and it has auto crit from Firebrand here. It looks like we are trying to make use of as much of Jasper's as possible by being an Ignite build. So we're attacking, which I guess we're kind of wasting the melee fizz, but I digress. So we're attacking as fast as we can. We are building up stacks for Ignite, and then we apply one big Ignite with Flame Reeve, consuming all the stacks of Firebrand, and then we consume that with Searing Conflagration. So it says all Ignites deal their damage instantly, and they have 200% more damage on top of that. So I kind of get what this build's doing. I'm surprised that we don't have more attack speed in the build, given that we are a ailment build, and we're like trying to do as much Ignites as possible. I'm surprised we don't see one of the various Ignite or ailment pair of gloves. Maybe something like Wingguard would give us tons of attack speed. Something like Burning Avarice would give us Ignite effect, which is always very important on these ailment builds. Or Atrophy would be the last one. Gives us generic penetration against all resistances for damage over time. So I'm kind of surprised that I don't see one of those three things in there. Let's take a look at the rest of the weapon, or the rest of the build. We have an enchant weapon up here, melee elemental damage, health, firebrand levels, elemental damage over time, stuff, and then a Sunwreath over here. Okay. So if we're playing an Ignite build, we also don't have a Fiery Dragon Shoes. So I don't know how their damage felt in this build, but it definitely looks like you could juice more out of it. We could juice more out of our gloves. We can get the Fiery Dragon Shoes for more Ignite effect, even. 25 to 35 Ignite effect. And then if you really want to go ham on something like this, you could have Ignite Duration, Tome of Elements with LP on it, or you can go Soulfire for even more Ignite chance. So if you wanted to like go the LP route and really juice this build up, you have more options. See, fire damage over time, cooldown recovery speed for Surge. Recovery speed for Surge. Okay, so it looks like cooldown recovery speed for Surge was a priority for them. Let's take a look at the skills real quick, see if anything pops out to us. Fire damage over time per stack. Using Flame Reeve, consume stacks of Firebrand, sure. And then you refresh the duration of all stacks of Firebrand when you're gaining a new stack. I don't know how important that is. Is there anything else you could do with this instead? Firebrand deals more damage, melee adaptive, no. Armor per stack, let's go. Your next melee attack that is not Firebrand consumes all stacks of Firebrand and deals more damage per stack. Let's take a look at Surge. Surge is going to proc our Flame Reeves as well. Deals more damage. So it's a melee attack by default. Oh, wait. I guess you have to go Flame Reeve, or you have to go Firebrand, Flame Reeve. Because if you go Brand, Surge, then your Surge would consume the Incineration. So maybe that was intentional. Maybe. We have a bunch of ward stuff over here on the side. And like, as a hardcore player, I always see this like invulnerability while surging. This is the kind of thing that I would like to see. I like invulnerability. We already saw enchant weapon. I like all what's going on here. And then flame ward. I guess my only complaints are like, we have this ward stuff here, but I would really like to see all the damage reduction. Like flame ward is one of the best defensive mechanics in the game. I would love to see like 5 points here and 3 points here for less elemental damage taken. And oh, this is reduced. Ooh, reducing. And then less hit damage taken off this node. So that's the kind of thing that I would like to see. Is anything popping out in the passives? This is a really important node for spell blades because it just gives you so much damage. So this, when you use a melee attack that costs 10 or more mana, the stacks are consumed and the attack deals 15% more elemental damage. And it also affects the damage dealt by the ailments that the attack applies. Yeah. So this Blade Weaver node, assuming that you're going like Firebrand, 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 Flame Reeve, then the Flame Reeve would get like a bunch of more multipliers on it. But again, like we said, if you're going Brand, Surge, and then Surge procs Flame Reeve, then you lose all of that synergy. Let's take a look at build number 2. What is this? Okay, this is the best in slot. This is not actually what they had. God bless. That is quite the weapon. So let's read through this and find out what is going on with this spell blade here. It's got Firebrand, Shatter Strike, and some other stuff. Okay, let's do some reading. This is Jasper's Chill Flame. So the primary concept is this. You build up as many ignites on the enemy as possible, gaining approximately +5 stacks per attack with Jasper's staff stacks. It's not per attack, right? I don't think it's per attack. And then you convert the ignites and you upgrade the stacks via Shatter Strike's Chill Flame, Blade Weaving, and Incineration nodes. So we're firebranding over and over, and then we hit once with Shatter Strike. It repeats a couple times, and it converts all stacks of ignite on the enemy into Frostbite. And we're actually playing a Frostbite build that isn't using Frostbite Shackles. Huh. God, that is so much attack speed. By using a staff, it's possible to get the high damage, elemental damage over time affix, and the freeze rate multiplier mods, which dramatically increase the damage and effectiveness via Snowdrift Boots of Frostbite. Further, you end up using Snowdrift Boots and 3 Frostbite duration idols. You can attain another 8 times damage multiplier to the total damage of Frostbite. So we're getting Frostbite duration from our idols instead of getting Frostbite duration from our gloves. So then we swapped out our gloves and we're using Wind Guards instead. Interesting. What a cool idea. Okay, so we get a bunch of ignite. Yeah, melee ignite chance per attack, and then we stack up attack speed. We go attack, 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 attack. That gives us melee ignite chance. Then like as we're attacking, we're applying all those ignites, and then we swing with one big Shatter Strike. I'm a little skeptical of how defensive we are right now. But offensively, the idea of this build looks great. I'm into it. Let's pop open build number 3. So we have 4 builds. We're on the 3rd build. I've been given a video link. So I guess we're going to watch a video. I have a video link that has a screenshot with 23 million damage. Let's watch the video first, okay? Let's see what's going on. Wait, I literally looked down. Whoa, wait, hold on. Whoa, hold on. I literally looked down. What just happened? This is enemies have 100% more damage. Oh, is there a bleed pop? What has a bleed pop on it? Oh, Abyssal Echoes? Got it. Okay, now let's read what this person has to say. Learn about it. This is a Bleed Shield Rush meme build with Jasper's as its damage core. Due to the many mechanical problems of Shield Rush, the theoretical upper limit of damage cannot be stably played in actual combat, because periodically it won't restore mana if you click too fast. Even with an auto hotkey script, it only does about 2/3 the damage on the dummy. I know exactly where this person's coming from. And about 1/3 the damage done manually, maybe. So even though it looks very strong, I would still consider this a meme build. What are the highlights? The highlights of this build: you convert Ignite to 3000% physical damage via Rive, and you're using Rive for utility. And then it demonstrates the insane frequency and bleed damage theoretically achievable by Shield Rush, which I totally understand. What is the point of Jaspers and is it replaceable? I like this section. Jaspers can provide a lot of melee ignite chance, which is converted to physical increased damage by Rive. The part of the bonus by Jaspers accounts for about 40% of the damage in general. Wow. This part of the Jaspers provides about 40% of the build's overall damage. This person says Jaspers is not replaceable for this meme build. The combination of a Dragon Bone Axe and a shield would be a bit more balanced in my opinion. For what it's worth, I mentioned that there was a build that Dread, Epoch Builds on YouTube, has played in the past. He used a Taste of Blood, which it kinda is like a bleed pop, and then he used a Flayer's Pride, or you could just use a Bastion in your offhand. I think that version of this build is not a meme, and I think it's very good. The last section here is why Shield Rush, and why not Warpath or some other skill. They said Shield Rush is the melee skill with the highest base speed, 2.97 times per second, on paper, which means it can get more Searing Blades buffs. Warpath is a channeled skill, which means that it does not work with the buff on the bottom of Jasper's Searing Pride, because it says when you use a melee attack, not just on hit. It also said Warpath cannot snapshot the buffs with duration, which means that stacking a lot of Jasper buffs and then continuing to channel Whirlwind with snapshots is not feasible. So you can't just like melee attack, melee attack, melee attack, melee attack, and then Warpath for the next 6 minutes. Which is interesting. I guess that's an important thing that they tested there. All right, we have one more build to go. Our last build here is a Void Knight. That is, let's see, what can we learn about this? This is a crit Void Knight. We have a Titan Heart. We are playing Rive, consuming the third hit, or consuming the ignites. Okay, so this is like a crit Rive version of what we just saw a second ago, right? Jasper, Searing Pride, consuming the ignites, turn it into physical damage, third hit crit Rive, with some super normal looking skills over here. Okay, I like the looks of it. Let's read the description, okay? Oh, we have a video? Just kidding. Let's watch the video first, and then we will read the description. Some good old-fashioned Rive. Oh, I was gonna say, why did your character randomly stop? I love Scalebane Body. Let's rewind it. Hey, why is your character randomly standing still? What happened? Why is your character not moving? Oh, it's a Scalebane Body. Let's pause this, go back here, and let's read what's going on with this build number 4. So this concept for the build is Jasper's Rive using the execution node to convert the large amount of useless ignite into useful physical damage. Currently playing a third hit crit Rive, but given a large amount of crit chance, one can get anomaly. You can get from anomaly, and then you can use like a prismatic gaze as well. You could convert this into a all hits Rive, which is about 50% more DPS overall. Compared to other Jasper's builds using Paladin, I think Void Knight is a much better choice. You get about 30% attack speed from a tree, and the echoes provide not only a large boost to damage, but also a large amount of ignites to enemies that live more than 1 second, giving you massive amounts of physical damage. Echoes do not give Jaspers on hit, but echoes do give additional ignites, which you can consume later. Against the dummy at level 80, I can get about 1400% increased physical damage from Execution Node and Rive. This is multiplied per enemy hit because all the ignites are consuming. And there's still a lot more scaling left to be done in this build. So a reasonable amount in arena against tough enemies would be about 4,000 to maybe 5,000% increased physical damage. Let's click on the skills. We saw that already. Let's click on the passives. So we don't have the minus block chance nodes. So do we have any block? I don't think we have any block, do we? No block, no block. Oh, we actually have block on the gloves? I love to see it. Cool inclusion. Because like we have block on Jaspers, maybe you get some block somewhere else too. Something like Sigils could add block chance in there as well. Yeah, you'll love to see it. So let's see, the rest of the passives. We can't make use of this because it's axe or sword or mace or scepter, but we're using a staff, so oh well. With that said, we're going to do some voting, and I guess we'll see which one Twitch chat likes the most, so we have a winner here. So we have our winner. Is it going to be build number 1 with Ignite Flame Reeve with Surge and Firebrand and enchant weapon? Is it build number 2 with Ignite Shatter Strike? You poke with Firebrand a bunch of times, and you consume all those, or you convert those ignites into frostbites. Is it build number 3 Bleed Shield Rush using Rive as a support to get a bunch of % increased damage? Or is it Crit Rive Void Knight using those ignites just to boost up the damage of Rive itself? And the winner is Bleed Shield Rush. Look at that. We've got a Bleed Shield Rush Paladin here. So it's funny, like you look at this thing and it gives you melee ignite chance. It's like, how is melee ignite chance gonna be in a bleed build? We're using Rive as a support skill to get like 40% of our overall damage from the % increased damage. So I will say, if I were gonna play this build, I would consider using a Titan Heart because I love the extra damage reduction that you get from Titan Heart. And overall from Jasper's, I like the idea that you can use the damage reduction from a Titan Heart. Let's go hover over this real quick. I like the idea that you can use the damage reduction from a Titan Heart and also not sacrifice your block chance. In any case, congratulations to our winner here, playing their Bleed Shield Rush build here with Support Rive. I will say, I think one of the most impactful parts about this build was the YouTube video where I had to rewind it because I'm not used to looking at videos that have pop damage in them. Because this person popped Aerobus from like 75% HP. So that's a very impactful portion of this build. So thank you for everybody who participated, even though today is the beginning of the new Path of Exile League. So I know a lot of people in Twitch chat right now are alt-tabbed and maybe doing their own Path of Exile stuff right now. But still, thank you to the people who participated, and even more so to, I guess equally so, to the people who are here in Twitch watching the build contest. So if you like this kind of thing, drop by Twitch. I'll put the information for both my Twitch stream and for VisionGL's Twitch stream in the description of the video. But if you got questions or comments or ideas about how you would play a Jasper's build, feel free to leave those in the comment section of this video. You can drop by Discord, or you can always watch live. So thanks for being here. I'll see you next time.